Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to the 300th episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. Jeff, we should celebrate because 300's pretty awesome, man. And I will tell you that over 50% of podcasts never have an episode with over 28 downloads. 90% of podcasts that get started never make it to episode 3. Of the 10% that make it past episode 3, 90% of those never get to 20 episodes. So there's always going to be people that have more downloads, more listeners, more episodes, but we are in pretty rarefied air to be at 300 episodes and hundreds of thousands of downloads. So thank you for listening and supporting The Payoff. We absolutely love doing this. It's a labor of love, but it's a lot of fun. Probably helps us personally and professionally and gives us enjoyment. And we hope it gives you something mindless to listen to in the car, at the gym, during work, wherever it may be. So thank you for listening. And Jeff, pretty cool to be at 300 episodes, man.
Yeah, and we've always tried to cover, we've always said we cover the good and the bad. We give our scores based on whatever bullshit criteria we feel like using that day. And so, but, it's all important stuff. It's all good stuff. Like at a match like this, especially where, I enjoy, like, we can always cover Raw. We can always cover SmackDown. There's always a WrestleMania match that we can find. But this was one that this is going to be special for episode 300 and kind of what we're doing here. I don't have a lot of notes for this one, and so we can kind of talk through it as it's happening and kind of watching it. But I'll set us up a little bit once we're ready. But other than that, like we're both going in pretty blind on this one.
I have no idea what to expect, man. This is going to be fun, man. I can't wait. So
I did not peek. I have not looked at any of this, like, to see what's going to happen. I didn't even really we're this episode is 300. You think we'd be better prepared, but I'm kind of shooting from the hip with just like a few details here and there, but that's it. Our note page is pretty empty after we start talking about just a little bit here at the start.
And I can tell you it's not for a lack of trying. It's because there is very, very, very little information out there about this. But, dude, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to cover this one. I say we get to the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
All right, man. So, Texas Wrestling Alliance. Okay. So, there's a promotion called the Texas Wrestling Alliance. Shawn Michaels has this Texas Wrestling Academy school, formerly known as the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. All right. So this is all taking place. Shawn is retired from the business. He's living in San Antonio, Texas. You and I could not find what else happened on this show, but I believe it was filmed on April 4th and aired on April 15th. In 2000. So you're going to get into this, but we've got Shawn stepping in the ring for the local promotion attached to his wrestling academy. And man, this is going to be a lot of fun. What were you able to dig up on this?
Yeah, the few little things. Yeah, kind of same thing is, so you had Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy, which he set up after he hurt his back in 1998. in order for the performers to get some experience really live and kind of be in that atmosphere, that's why they set up the Texas Wrestling Alliance, the TWA. And so it was him, Ken Johnson, Jose Lothario, and Rudy Boy Gonzalez are the ones that kind of got all this set up. And so just a few people, big names that kind of went through this school too. Daniel Bryan, Brian Kendrick, Paul London, who of course, Paul London, Lance Cade, Masada. Like there was a whole bunch of different people that went through this to kind of be a part of this. And so, like we said, to the unknown, like we would have thought that this 2002 match at SummerSlam was when he came back, but it was this match. It was him against Venom, also known as Paul Diamond. It was a bunkhouse brawl match for the Texas Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Championship. And so Paul Diamond, if I remember, Bad Company, Orient Express, he'd been around for a long time. And so, The one quote I found, and then we'll kind of get into this, is millions of people undoubtedly would have shown up or tuned in to see Shawn Michaels' miraculous in-ring return had they been given the option. The only thing, though, was the match was exclusive only to the fans in attendance or to those who could pick up the local Texas television broadcast. And we now bring it to you today.
Man, this is just crazy.
Yep.
Because there was no way to get this. Like, Shawn's my all-time favorite. I knew this match took place, but there was no YouTube in 2000.
Yep. Yeah. And this one, I don't even know when this video was posted or how old it is, but yeah, like this is over 10 years ago. So crazy. But yeah. So
all right, man,
I'm ready if you are, man.
Yeah, I am. Let's do this. So we've got the Daily Motion clip pulled up. Shawn Michaels versus Venom, TWA 4/15/2000. Jeff, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
Venom, Paul Diamond coming out. He's got a trash can with looks like cane or crutches. He's got a kendo stick.
Please welcome Venom.
I have no clue how many people are here. It's all kinds.
So you got Venom coming out here.
And ladies and gentlemen, the moment everyone has waited for. This is where it truly is historic. The music sound.
Oh, using the WWE music. I was curious.
I've got the look. Ladies and gentlemen, three-time World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion. He is also the current Texas Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Champion. He is the heart for Rich Kid.
It's got a big between the rope and the edge of the ring. It's like it almost looks like it's like.
I gotta admit, I have goosebumps right now. The entire crowd here packed at Far West
Right out of it. Here we go.
has waited a long time for these two.
All right, here you go, man. So yeah, this match was sandwiched between January of 1998. I'm sorry, March of 1998 when Austin beats Michaels, and then 2002 when him and Triple H would face off.
Yep.
Now, it's never been directly said, but the implication was, there were discussions with Shawn Michaels around WrestleMania 15, 16, 17 about potentially wrestling, but he was still dealing with pain and pill problems, and obviously that's all been well documented, but that they just never really felt like he was ready to go. looks like a decent crowd, man.
Yeah, it looks like definitely not it's got to be like a bar or something. Like, there's no way that it's anything else. So I'm gonna look up and see if I can figure out where it was filmed.
Yeah, see if you can find out. But I mean, I bet you there's 1,000 people there. I don't know, maybe a little less, but there's a decent little crowd.
So I'm interested. I've been kind of watching like how Michaels is moving. Like he's getting beat up pretty good on this point.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
It's pretty wild. I mean, again, I'd love to know the real story, but it's pretty interesting that, it's hard to believe that he did this match, right? And this wasn't. I mean, this looks like it's a I don't know, at least 10-minute match, right? I mean, it's not like they didn't do anything. So he's wrestling. But it's just hard to believe that, if you're going to put your body on the line like this, you just imagine that, you would do it at a WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah. And especially, I mean, it's a hardcore match. Like that,
Yeah.
That's the other wild thing. Like this isn't like, him coming back and doing, whatever. It's like, he's out there working hard.
Let's check on the crowd noise.
He gets the company. Tiger won the match, gave the belt to Venom,
It's your
joined
small
the Demons
menu
of
chatter.
Destiny,
Yeah.
and Shawn lost control of the TWA. Just incredible, the incredible showdown. Wins the belt from Venom, hands it to Shawn, says it's my gift to
Taking his
you.
boot off and hitting him. Okay.
All right. See, I guess he's wrestling in cowboy boots. Yeah,
I guess
Sure
so.
is.
Yeah.
he sure is. So we were talking about this last week, but ran out of time. The top WrestleMania matches of all time, that list.
Sure.
I guess an appropriate time to talk about it with Mr. WrestleMania in the ring. Those lists are obviously tough. They're completely subjective. A few that I thought were worth discussing. So that Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle match, I mean, to me, I'm not saying top 5, but man, I feel like it has to be top 10. So I thought that one was definitely underrated. And I know there was a lot of chatter over that. So that's one that I don't think people understand how good of a match that was. The problem with that match is it wasn't for anything. And so, you didn't have that was the title match at a certain show or whatever. I mean, it was almost like a mid-card match. All right, so Shawn has a ladder going after Venom with that. Another big one is WrestleMania 3, ranking Macho Steamboat over Hogan Andre. Now, the Macho match was better, but if you're going off of that, there's been hundreds of WrestleMania matches that were a better wrestling match than Hogan Andre. To me, Hogan Andre, if it's not number 1, it's top 3, but you have to rank it ahead of the Macho Man match. That's what filled the house. That's the iconic moment. That's the all-timer. Another one, WrestleMania 17. Rock Austin is at number 5.
Okay.
Jeff, the ending of that. So I believe it or not, this is how sick I am. Before we're recording a wrestling podcast, I actually watched that match this morning.
Okay.
It's like maybe the best match ever. Okay. But that ending made no sense. Mm-hmm. Austin shouldn't have turned heel. The problem too is that, think about this, Vince and Austin joining up, that should be like Cena heel turn, Hogan heel turn. That's where it should be. But the way they did it was so confusing and convoluted and no one wanted it. So it just like almost fell flat after what I think was like maybe the best match of all time, believe it or not. So the other thing is, I forgot, man, The Rock was only 29 then. And like really his entire run was like WrestleMania 15 to 20, and even 20, he was definitely a part-timer at that point. So pretty wild, man. I did love that they put Warrior Savage at number 9 because sometimes that match doesn't get talked about enough. I thought that was an all-time classic. So just some of my thoughts. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at the list or you had any of your thoughts on that.
Like I said, just from kind of what you're saying, like, and these lists are always controversial. Like, there's always like, why did you put so-and-so higher than that? Or why did they do this? And so, I mean, yeah, I agree with you though. Like Andre Hogan, like from a technical wrestling standpoint, no, it was awful, but it was what it was. Like it's talked about as the moment, that WrestleMania was born. And so how can you not at least look at it that way? Yeah. Savage Steamboat. We loved that match and we covered it. Like that was just an absolutely fantastic match. So doesn't surprise me, most of it. So Michael's got the upper hand now. He's kind of really beating the crap out of Venom. I think he's wearing cowboy boots too, which I think is kind of funny. Yeah. I can't really tell because the shit quality of this, but, and to set it up too, he's in blue jeans and like a sleeveless tank, kind of taped up wrists, long hair. And so he's got knee pads on over his jeans too. And so, but he looks fully healthy though. Looks like he's moving like he should. We got a small ladder in the ring. Yeah. So things happening, but yeah. And we got Venom.
That there was something going on that maybe someone else would represent him, that maybe he wouldn't even make it to the ring.
He's got the ladder between Venom's legs, and then he just drop kicked it right into his grapefruits. Yep, there you go. And Michael's
can I give you an anti Shawn Michaels take that's probably going to surprise you? And I know I am one of the few to feel this way.
I'm stunned. Is this your personal opinion, or is this just what's out there?
My personal opinion.
All right, let's get it.
I think Shawn versus Razor at WrestleMania 10 is overrated.
Okay.
The challenge is at the time it was unique. As a ladder match, it does not hold up. It wasn't that good. And even if you look at the crowd, I don't think that they were like super into it as well. I just think it falls a little flat. I think it's overrated. I mean, I really do. I mean, I love the significance of it, but I just don't. I think he gets a little too much love.
That is definitely
again right. The Angle Shawn match is way better. Not even close.
I'm looking at this. So Roman Cody is 6. I would give the Dudleys, Hardys, Edge, and Christian 7. That's a good one. Yep.
I mean, Roman Cody. If you ranked it at number 1 overall, I wouldn't hate it. I think there's better ones, but I just think that was off the charts. I just watched that the other day too.
Brett and Owen at 11. I feel like that one should be higher because right at number 10, Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. That one doesn't belong on that list.
Nope. That was the one I disliked probably the most.
What was it? Was it Becky or who came out recently? And one of them had said like, yeah, Ronda was not a wrestler. Like she had one good match that everyone was blown away by because it was her very first match. And then she didn't know what she was doing after that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I find it funny too, because Becky, what was it just recently? Was like, no, I'm not, I'm done. I'm not wrestling anymore. It's like, why? Like, okay, I'll be happy to see you at Backlash. Like, or I'll be happy to see you at whatever in pay-per-view. So we're outside of the ring. It almost looks like they're like a sumo ring. I don't know what's going on, like in this kind of circular area. We got table getting set up. Michael's down.
He's going to end this. This is the end of it tonight.
So I don't know if I sent this to you, but I saw the letter online of like people that got into the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy.
Okay.
So classes on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for 12 weeks. $1,300 per month or $500 per month to be a referee. Everyone was staying at the Summer Creek Apartments. You could have your own apartment or you could share with another wrestler.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Summer Creek Apartments. Oh, these look nice. Okay. Pets welcome. Swimming pool.
Yeah, so who knows what they're standing on, but we do have a table.
You know what that is? It's an orchestra pit. Yeah.
I mean, it looks high because Shawn could barely get up it. Oh, geez. Now they're both on the orchestra pit.
It is high. It's about 8 feet up. Yeah.
I fear for Shawn if he was to be tossed.
It's like they're in like a weird theater. Like, yeah, they're up on stage now after that. I said that sumo ring. It's the orchestra.
And a lot of future football games
going to throw him off. Michaels off the note.
Lots of Venom. Good toss. Through the table from the second level. This bunkhouse brawl. Hardcore match.
And throwing Venom
go anywhere. He's going anywhere.
Orchestra pit. That's wild.
Has just been hip toss of the second level. The second level of the stage. The 3 stages of Far West Rodeo. And the fans are telling their hero.
All right, Jeff, you ready for it?
Yep.
This was held at the West Side YMCA located at 2600 Ruiz Street. That's where this took place. This is the local YMCA.
Still there. West Side Family YMCA of Greater San Antonio. Okay. 2900 Ruiz. That's what I'm looking at too. All right. Good find. All right.
Okay, so there you go.
Who would have thunk? Yeah, now I'm sure there's been some renovations since, but who would have thunk that? This Shawn Michaels bled in that building. You know,
Shawn walking around looking for something. Fans are telling him what's around, what's inside. Venom still bleeding heavily. Limping, and Shawn has pulled another table out from under the ring.
Getting the tables.
It is wild that you cannot find results from this show.
I don't think I think this was the only match.
Oh, I mean, this is all that's listed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's my guess. Is this was the only match on this one? I think the full show is actually out there, and so we just have to kind of take the time to check that out. But yeah, it's we'll just have to wait and see. Yep.
The vision and this kendo stick. The very.
I mean, I'm sure Shawn held some things back, and there's certain bumps he didn't do. But I mean, you'd have to really watch the match closely. I mean, otherwise, this is just a. You know, I'd argue he didn't do any of like the super athletic stuff. I mean, he didn't do like a moonsault or, you know, a big dive outside, but I mean, he's still going. I'd argue he looks a little slower than he did when he came back. So now Venom looks like he's going to handcuff Shawn to the ring here.
Trying to, at least. Yep, there and got it.
I guess I didn't really think about the fact that Shawn had a wrestling school, and of course now he runs developmental for WWE.
Right. Yeah.
And it's funny. I mean, I know it's like it's quote unquote just developmental, but think about how important NXT is to WWE. I mean, it's their training ground, and it's like I know, like I don't think people realize how critical it is. I mean, think about this whole thing recently with Tiffy Time. You could argue that she's a little on the greener side. 24, 26, whatever years old she is, doesn't have, you know, a bunch of indie experience and all that. And look at the problem that may have created. And again, I'm not blaming her for it, but, you know, she obviously was flustered. Charlotte was too. But it just shows you, like, you can't put people on WWE TV that aren't ready.
Yeah.
Whether it's botched moves or promos or whatever else. So it's like them being able to cut their teeth in there, especially when we don't have the indie scene, you know, where these guys and gals can work 7 nights a week and get experience for a few years. Like, they had to create that. And I mean, if Shawn doesn't go down there and get that right, and Triple H before him, I mean, you've got big problems. So I think it's critical. All right, so someone came in the ring here. Who is that?
Anyone, including you.
I'm gonna run in here. Let's see.
T-bone suplex on and over the table.
Table didn't break.
Replants the table, says that's not good enough. He's going for round 2. What's it going to be? Another
on
top of the table, but for what reason?
Shooter Schultz. Don't know who Shooter Schultz is.
He looks at Shawn and says, "Nah, boss, this is for you."
Oh, okay. Now he powerbombs on the table and it still didn't break.
And Shooter Schultz power bombs Venom, takes out the legs of the table, and Shooter with a key. The key that unlocks the handcuffs. Shawn Michaels is free. Venom is getting to his feet. He moves the table. Grabs Venom. Scoop. Shawn, you can barely hold the man up. The weight should be.
Oh.
Yeah, he got all that one, yeah.
Body slam through the table. HBK. The fans want it. You know it. Super kick.
Sweet chin music.
Clips the chin. 2, 3. Drives it into the jaw of Venom. And Shawn Michaels has not only survived 4-4 for history, he has regained ownership of his company, and he is rightfully the TWA Heavyweight Champion.
All right, there you go, man.
Just crazy. Yikes. Okay.
Pretty wild. All right, that was a fun one. Let's get to the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
That was wild. Like I talk all the time. I said it last week. I want to say, like, you got to put yourself in the time frame this happened, and like to know that in '98 he was gone or out, and then in 2000 he just does he works a random YMCA in 2000, and we still don't see him for another 2 years. And at the time, like, this would have flown completely under the radar. Nobody would have known about it. It wasn't a thing. Like, the fact that there's any footage of it whatsoever is probably a small miracle. And so I'm sure this is one of the tapes that was lost to time type thing. But yeah, I thought like it was a pretty good match too. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
It's just one of them. It's just one of those. I'm glad we covered it. Like, to anybody out there, find it. Like, it is just that it's a weird snapshot of time more than anything, which was great. But yeah,
very, very true. Very true. Do you have any idea what happened after this match?
I mean, Shawn Michaels went back to WWE. WWF. I don't. Like I said, there's one of the few times I don't have much on this one. Like, just kind of what happened. I mean, the school's still around, so that's it.
Yeah, and we know that Shawn was there 2 years later. I mean, I at some point between this match and 2002, obviously he was able to get his life on the straight and narrow, which is obviously fantastic. And as they say, the rest is history. But pretty wild, man. I mean, really, just great stuff. I'm glad we covered this one. I'm glad we found it. He was Shawn Michaels, right? Was it like, it's sometimes it's tough in like a brawl like that, and you can do, some smoke and mirrors. But yeah, I loved it.
So Michaels, came back in 2002, but he was relatively quiet until that kind of happened. A little bit on Venom, Paul Diamond. It said he had held the Texas Wrestling Alliance heavyweight championship twice, and then later focused on training wrestlers, establishing the Paul Diamond Hard Knocks Pro Wrestling Academy. And so there you go. And retired from active competition in 2001. Did have a couple matches after that, though, but that's all there is. Yep. So yeah, wild. Score? What are you thinking here?
Man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna rank this as a 8.5, and you could probably argue anything from like a 5 to an 8.5. I'm gonna rank as an 8.5 because if Shawn doesn't do this, does he ever come back? does he ever have the confidence to come back? If this doesn't go well and he gets hurt, is he done forever? Was this a little bit of a test to say, hey, I can still do it and I feel pretty decent? I mean, getting into the personal side of things, maybe this gave him a little more purpose in life to get healthy and get back to the big time. So how's his life different because he cleaned himself up and focused on his family and, got off the sauce? It's just there's a lot there, right? But overall, I was very happy with it. So 8.5 for me, man. What about you?
I'm 7.5. It was great. I mean, it was, there's nothing wrong with it. It's one of those where I would definitely, like I said, tell people go back, check it out, because it was just wild enough that it was good enough. And so, yeah, it's just one of those ones that, like I said, I'm glad we covered it because of how crazy it is and when it was taking place. Like who would have thunk? Yeah.
Cool.
Good. Okay. Moving on. Great 300.
A lot of fun, man.
Time to move on. Yeah.
How many? So we've done 300 matches.
Yep.
How many good ones do we still have to cover? You're usually on top of this, but I feel like you keep coming up with a ton of matches we haven't covered.
So let's see here. We've got roughly 52. We've probably got, oddly enough, we got over 300 matches still on our list. So it's a pretty big list. Some of them we'll probably never cover, but we've got a lot. We got a big pool to pick from, and so I'm looking at. So we are currently, like I said, we are numbered. I have us scheduled through 315, and the spreadsheet goes all the way down to 652. So there you go.
All right, man. Well, that's exciting.
Just wild. Yeah, we got lots to cover. Yep. So what do we got next? Next 100. Let's just spoil a little bit here. We're gonna Super Brawl next week. I see a women's match the week after that. We got an Austin Undertaker on Raw. Actually, you talked about him a little bit during this one. We got a Bret Hart versus Razor. That was the King of the Ring. I see that on there as well too. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. I see a little ECW Hardcore Heaven 95 Cactus Jack versus the Sandman. That should be a good one. So we got some fun stuff lined up.
Good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep this going, and let's send them home happy after 300.
All right. Well, as always, we appreciate everyone listening. We got 300 down, and according to Jeff, 300 to go.
Right. There we go.
And if by 300 more, that's another 6 years. So by then we can start covering stuff like. We can cover like WrestleMania 35 by that point.
Right, exactly. Yeah, in 10 years, we could talk about the Cody's retirement match and Roman's retirement match. And it'll be crazy. Like what John Cena's return from retirement, who knows?
Yeah.
So it'll be good.
All right. Well, we appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next week on an all new episode of The Payoff.